Welcome to my channel again. Today we'll be continuing with our mathematics lessons, the differences between factors and multiples in mathematics. I know that these particular terms have confused a lot of people, so today I'll be dissecting them with practical examples. So what are factors and what are multiples? Let's start with factors. Factors. When you talk about factors in mathematics, factors simply refers to a number that can divide easily into another number without remainder. That is what is called factor. A factor is any whole number that can divide easily into another number without remainder. So we talk about, let's say, factors of 12, factors of 20, factors of 100. So when you say factors of 12, what you are referring to is what are those numbers that can divide evenly into 12 without remainder. So let's go into our board. When you talk about factors of 12, now what are the numbers that can divide 12 without remainder? That is what is referred to as factors. Now you know you can divide 12 by 2. When you say 12 divided by 2, it will give you 6. You can also divide 12 by 3. So 3 is another factor of 12. You can also divide 12 by 4. When you say 12 divided by 2, it will give you 6. When you say 12 divided by 3, it will give you 4. When you say 12 divided by 4, it will give you 3. Another factor of 12 is 6. When you say 12 divided by 6, it will give you 2. Another factor of 12 is also 12, because you can say 12 divided by 12 and it will give you 1. So these are the only factors of 12 in mathematics. So any whole number that can divide into another number without remainder is called a factor. Let me quickly give you the meaning of multiples before we look into more examples. Now, we say that factors are numbers that can divide evenly into another number without remainder. Then what of multiples? When you talk about multiples in mathematics, before I explain multiples, we have these two concepts, LCM and HCF. So LCM is called lowest common multiple. So in LCM, what they're looking for is multiples. Then we have HCF, which is called highest common factor. So you can see that the terms used at the end of this concept, they are different. The letters used at the end of this concept, they are different. One is common factor. Another one is common multiple. So if you don't know what factor is, if you don't know what factor is different from multiples, you will miss it when it comes to calculating these things. So a multiple is gotten by multiplying a particular number by a whole number. That is a multiple. Do you get it at all? In multiples, you are multiplying a particular number by a whole number. In factors, you are dividing a number by another number without remainder. So, for instance, let's use this particular example we just used now, 12, and then the factors of 12. Factors of 12, these are the factors of 12. What of a situation when you say multiples of 12? So multiples of 12 cannot be the same as multiples of 12 cannot be the same as the factors of 12. So I just told you that multiples are gotten by multiplying that number by whole numbers. In nursery or primary school, you hear like 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 6, 2 times 4, 8. They're talking about multiples. You hear 12 times 1, 12, 12 times 2, 24, 12 times 3, 36, 12 times 4, 48. That is multiples. So multiples are gotten by multiplying a particular number by whole numbers. So multiples of 12 include 12 times 1, which is 12, 12 times 2, which is 24, 12 times 3, which is 36, 12 times 4, which is 48, 12 times 5, which is 60, and so on. So you can see the clear difference between factors and multiples. In factors, we are looking for numbers that can divide evenly into that number without remainder. We are looking for those whole numbers. But in multiples, we are looking for the multiplied form of that number. We multiply that particular number by whole numbers, and as you keep multiplying, keep getting bigger numbers. Now, let me give you a very striking difference between factors and multiples. No factor of a number is more than that number. For instance, factors of 12. The highest factor of 12 that you can have is 12. The highest factor of 12 you can have is 12. You cannot have 24. You cannot have 13. You cannot have 14. Because those numbers, they cannot divide evenly by this particular number. Then in multiples, the lowest multiple of a particular number is that number. Then you can have higher one, for instance, 12. Then 24, 36, 48, 60. A multiple of a number cannot be less than that number. And a factor of a number cannot be higher than that number. So that is the difference between factors and multiples.